What's up, team? Happy Monday. All right, your good buddy Derrick is here to spread the cheer. The Wild West has returned, and we've got things just happening in every direction. It's very interesting stuff that's going on right now. You can see the bulls are holding on to Bitcoin in the low 40s. Don't know how much longer that can last. I'll get to Bitcoin in a second. I'm going to talk about the Metaverse today. A lot of people are asking me about it. I do want to say point blank, not only is this not financial advice, just my opinion, but I'm definitely not a Metaverse expert. I have not been to the Metaverse. I don't know if you can go to the Metaverse, but I do see a lot of people talking about it, and I have looked at the potential. I think I understand the concept pretty well. I've listened to Zuckerberg talk about it. I've listened to some of the people who are neck deep into it, discuss it, and discuss the opportunities within it. So this is kind of all that's been on my mind right here. Yeah, that's what's going on in my world. But we will get to that. I'll do all my normal stuff in a second, but I want to do the Metaverse stuff right now. Getting this question a lot, and so I want to cover it. And first of all, there's a few different ways to invest in the Metaverse. Well, what is the Metaverse? Well, the thing that we've always thought would eventually happen, essentially like true virtual reality. Right now, like VR is pretty cool. It's evolved for sure. You can just see like a lot of this is being spread on by the gaming industry. The gaming industry is essentially laying the rails, which the Metaverse train will run on. But Facebook is well positioned with their assets, the companies that they own, and the firepower that they have, the horsepower that they have with just talented individuals. They have over 10,000 people working on the Metaverse right now. And by the way, this is probably out 2 to 4 years, somewhere in there, before this thing is really clicking. So I want to make sure, number one tip on the Metaverse is don't get FOMO. There's no reason. There's no reason to feel any FOMO about the Metaverse. There's going to be ups and downs between now and then. And there's people who are buying land in the Metaverse. There's people who are making profit on it. There's people who are getting rent. They're landlords in the Metaverse already. Here's a couple things. Specifically, I'll talk about the real estate piece of it to start, and then I'll tell you the things I'm looking at as far as investing into it. Some of the stuff is actually pretty interesting. Metaverse, what does that mean? That means unlimited. The multiverse is sort of what a lot of people call it. The theory that, space and time is infinite. So the concept of the metaverse is that basically it's infinite. So this is a stark difference between the way we look at real estate here on this planet, and particularly in this country. There is definitely a limited amount of it. That's one of the reasons why I like real estate. It's one of the reasons why I like Bitcoin. Fixed supply, or somewhat fixed supply when it comes to real estate, but definitely fixed cheap supply. Bitcoin, totally fixed supply. Those are good things. That makes these assets somewhat deflationary in a sense that they're going to go up in value over time. And so we don't have that with the Metaverse. The other thing that I don't like about real estate in the Metaverse right now is that it's not cheap. Remember, when Bitcoin came out, it was, I think the first day Bitcoin traded, you could buy 1,000 Bitcoin for around $1, something like that. It was just like any other micro crypto now. It was like fractions of a penny for a Bitcoin. That's where it started. And so I'm seeing all these YouTube videos where people are saying, get in early. And then I'm like looking at people who are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on land in the Metaverse. I'm going, that doesn't feel early to me. That doesn't feel early. That doesn't feel like I'm going to get, I even have a prayer at 100x or 1,000x or anything like I may have gotten with a Bitcoin or another coin that I've got in early on. It doesn't feel early. It doesn't look early. It feels late. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm going to encourage you to take a more conservative approach to investing in the Metaverse. Although, feel free. I know some people who are doing it. They're going out and they're buying land next to celebrities or whatever out in the Metaverse. Good luck with that. I hope it works. I do. But they're not getting it cheap. It's not like they're buying acres and acres of land in the Metaverse, plot after plot after plot for pennies, going, oh gosh, this is such a no-brainer. No, they're spending real cold hard cash on it. And while the opportunity might be big, especially long-term, I think we're seeing a little bit of a bubble here. We're seeing a bubble in some digital assets, probably in some micro cryptos, probably in the metaverse, probably in NFTs, certainly in stocks. We have a little bit of a bubble. Now, Kathy Wood would argue with me on the stock situation because she's saying innovation is happening rapidly and COVID really jump-started that. And that's an argument that I would have with her. But nonetheless, the metaverse is still very conceptual, years away, probably going to see a lot of that stuff rein in between here and a few years from now. Don't FOMO into anything. There's plenty of it. It's infinite. So don't FOMO. That's most important tip number one. All right, let's talk about specific investments. Well, first of all, if you want to get into the more aggressive side, which I won't spend much time on, but you go to CoinMarketCap and you can actually pull up right here. They have a tab, Metaverse. And you can see what are the top Metaverse coins. And Decentraland is one that I own, full disclosure, which is the number one market cap under the Metaverse as far as coins are concerned. This is also one that I am staking and making an APR on. I believe the APR I'm getting on that one is 2%, I think, at crypto.com. Axie Infinity, this is one that a lot of people really like. Now, one of the reasons I like Decentraland Mana is that it's got this fixed supply. I love that. I love that. Axie Infinity, this one's been very volatile. But look, there's a lot of Axie Infinity left. We only have 22% of the possible coins. Only 61 billion of those coins exist. 270 billion total, which will be the max supply. Sandbox, a lot of people like this one. Also very early on that one. 30% of the supply is out there. Theta, Engine Coin. There was one on here. Where is it? That I heard someone talking about. That's pretty interesting. UFO Gaming. Very low market cap. 400 million. Fraction of a penny. That one might make sense. Whoa, look at that. 7575757. Weird. All of the UFO Gaming coins are there. So that supply is in. I like those, and that's one I could see myself potentially buying. Again, you don't need to FOMO into anything at all right now, but particularly anything metaverse related. Okay, so there's a few things on the crypto side. There's also a metaverse index, MVI, which is one that you can get into. I don't know. I know this is going to happen eventually. Either Wall Street is going to ETF and give people exposure to lots of different cryptos, or people are going to make coins and do it. And so here you go. Metaverse Index. There it is, $180. And you can buy this. It's a coin. On the Ethereum network, anything on the Ethereum network bothers me. I actually don't know why Ethereum is so popular and why people like Ethereum so much. It is so expensive, it's crazy compared to everything else. So expensive, it's crazy. Crazy. Makes no sense to me. But here you go. Nonetheless, MVI, Metaverse Index. Okay, let's get out of that for a second. Let's talk on the stock side. This is a little bit easier. Now, there's so much stuff going on with the Metaverse. I'm not even going to talk about what's in it or all the things that are happening. There's so much. Just imagine the real world times a million, and then your wildest fantasies on top of that. I mean, the possibilities are unbelievable, and I believe that it's going to be absolutely enormous. I also believe that Facebook has Meta Inc. or whatever they are. They have essentially, I mean, there's no other way to really put it. It's a monopoly on this digital virtual world. I think that's the reason why Zuck went after it so hard, just like he did with Facebook. He knew there was an opportunity and he jumped on it hard, and he went hard and fast. Same thing with the metaverse. He's like, you know what? This is going to be the future. Someone's got to build it. If we build it early, we can own it, just like we did Facebook. And so here's an ETF, Round Hill Ball Metaverse ETF. There you go. Boom. A lot of people don't even know this exists, but there it is. It's right there. $14. You can enter this thing. It's very new. You know, there's not much history here. It goes back to what? The middle of December, just started. So again, no reason to FOMO in. Or no, wait a minute. No, it's been around since July. Sorry. It's been around since July. And the lowest it's been is $14. It's not much off the lows right here. It got up to almost 17. So again, you don't need to FOMO in anything. Plenty of time. That actually looks like a pretty good entry point right here, though. If you just look at the chart, right around $14 looks good. But, it's very early. Maybe let this thing trade a little bit. We don't have a lot of information. We don't know where it's going to go. We don't know what's going to happen in the market. But there's an ETF. Simple enough. You can invest in that in a lot of different places. If you want to get more aggressive, you can look at like Matterport. Matterport, for those in the real estate industry, we know Matterport. Matterport is something that's used quite a bit in property. They're not property videos. They're virtual tours, basically. This one is really down as well. Matterport is. The 52-week range is up to $37. The lowest was at 10.5. It's at 16. This one is, a lot of people are bullish on this one who are looking at the metaverse because the way that it maps reality. So one of the things with the metaverse is it's not just virtual reality. Zuck believes that he can integrate your physical reality into the metaverse. And so in order for that, in other words, you can have your house in the metaverse if you want be like the same as your house in the real world. Or you could design something, you could take someone else's house and make that your house in the metaverse, whatever. There's so many possibilities. It's literally infinite. It's crazy. Matterport has a lot of technology on this front already in place. Also, other companies, Google, Apple, Snapchat, these are all companies that are already effectively doing and getting involved in this type of technology. So you can invest in any one of those companies and it will also give you exposure to the metaverse. So you may already have Apple, Google in your ETFs and stuff that you already own in your mutual funds. So you may already be exposed to the metaverse and not even realize it, which is pretty cool to realize. So Matterport is one that may not be in your ETFs that you want to look at. Meta, the ETF. And then, the big winner here is going to be Facebook, right? They are going to have essentially a monopoly on this thing. They're going to build out what is just an unbelievable amount of code. I cannot fathom how much code it's going to take to create this thing. You think about how much code it takes to create a video game. Now imagine something that is 1,000,000 times bigger than that can host 1,000,000 different video games inside of it. It's so insane. They're going to have something that basically no one else can do. And I think they are going to reap an unbelievable, and notice he changed the name of the company for a reason. Meta Platforms. Platforms. What are you talking about? So if I'm a developer, if I'm a technology company and I want to create something in the metaverse, I'm going to have to go through Facebook to do that, right? I'm going to have to patch in to what they have built. And this could take years. Don't get me wrong. This isn't, that's why I'm saying don't FOMO into anything. But me personally, I'm going to swallow the pill. I'm going to bite my lip and buy Facebook stock. Why do I say bite my lip? Well, a couple reasons, many reasons. One of them is I bought Facebook a long time ago for $20 a share. Shortly after it went public, and the day that opened, it opened at 38, went to 45, came back, and was negative day 2, and kind of got beat up for a while. I bought it at $20, and I sold a bunch of it at 30, and I sold the rest of it at 40. And I thought I was a genius. Just another stock, just another asset on the list that I wish I'd never sold, along with every piece of real estate. So, yeah, I'm going to bite my lip and buy it back at 300 or whatever. I'm going to start a position, and I'm going to enter this position over the course of 24 months. So every month I'll buy whatever the price is on that day, automatically 1/24th of the amount that I planned on investing into the metaverse, which I'm going to do via Facebook. I think what's nice about it is when you invest in meta platforms, aka Facebook, it's not just an investment in the metaverse. If you buy one of these coins, it's also not just an investment in the metaverse, or Matterport or whatever. But this one has a really solid business with really solid assets already in place and stands to benefit the most from the metaverse. Now, you are not probably going to get 100x or whatever on Meta platforms. Maybe. Is it the next Berkshire Hathaway? Is Meta going to become, is it the next Amazon that's just getting started? It could be. This depends on how crazy this metaverse gets. 20 years, who knows what it looks like? Who knows what it looks like? And that's the type of time horizon I'm looking at just based on my age, 41. So for me in 20 years, what does this look like? And I think that maybe there is 100x there. Maybe that becomes the next Berkshire Hathaway. Maybe Meta Platforms is trading for $100,000 a share one day. I don't know. But I could tell you this. I feel like the chances of it being lower than what it is when I'm fully vested after the next 24 months of dollar cost averaging into it, I think the chances are pretty darn low. I think my money's going to be safe. And in fact, I think the risk reward is extremely sexy. Even with tech being up a ton, even with the stock market being overvalued, even with what are they giving us here for a PE? I mean, if you look at that, at $328 a share, Meta Platforms, aka Facebook, is only trading at 23 times earnings. The S&P is like double that on average. Double that. I feel like it is already in a very much a value position. And I don't think there are a lot of people who are getting into the metaverse investments just yet, at least from this standpoint. People are looking at the coins, people are looking at the games, people are looking at the properties, the things that are physically there, because those are going to get changed hands, and maybe there's some big upside there, and maybe there is. Maybe you'll lose your booty. Facebook won't reap any rewards of this for a while. It's going to take a while. But when they do, once it's set up, once the wheels are in motion and it's a part of this thing, they're going to be making so much money, it's going to be crazy. Just crazy. So I'm going to encourage you to be a little bit more conservative, a little bit more long-term about it. I don't want you to get hurt. I do believe there's a bubble in some of these digital assets, and I think Metaverse is one of them. I think NFTs is one of them. I think a lot of crypto as well. And so we're going to go, let's just take that right into, we'll check the signals here. All right. Let's take that right into, I wonder if that's been playing the whole time. I wonder if we've had background music this whole time. It'll be interesting to find out later. Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin, and then I'll do my normal thing after that. Okay. So we're in this range for quite some time, beginning of December all the way to beginning of January. So for about a month, we ranged from low 50s to mid 40s. And that was just kind of a nice and tidy little range. I felt happy. This was my happy place. I was good with this range. Typically, what happens, we have other ranges up here that we've dealt with. Typically, what happens, though, when you see an asset range like this, it usually just continues to go in the direction that it was already going. So when do I have a drawing? I don't have a drawing. When you see, okay, it was going down, right? And then we went sideways, and now we're going down again. And so what we're trying to figure out is, okay, well, can we zoom in a little bit here? This is the 4-hour chart. I like this chart right now. I kind of want to hide volume. Can I do that? Yeah, I'll figure it out later. Okay. Problem is, right now, it looks like there's definitely a big buyer who's willing to buy up to 41,000. That's what it looks like. It looks like there's a big buyer here who has said, you know what? Give me all the Bitcoins below 41,000. And anytime it gets below 41, it's coming back up. But we're also kind of seeing the same thing happen on the sell side, really at 42. Although we did creep up to 42 and change right here. That was not a lot of momentum. This still looks bad is my long-term. Yeah, let's give it to you short. The Reader's Digest version is, it doesn't look good. And for everyone out there who owns Bitcoin, who's been hodling Bitcoin, there's been too many people on Twitter saying the bottom is in, trust me, the bottom's in, putting it along here. There's a lot of that going on. Guys, don't get comfortable with that. I mean, I am proud So that means you can tell when you look at crypto, Bitcoin only down 1.9%, Ethereum down 4%, XRP down 4%, Litecoin down 4.5%, Bitcoin Cash down 4.5%. You can tell Bitcoin is holding its own. And a lot of times this will actually happen when there is a sell-off in alts. A lot of times people will return to Bitcoin as the king to try to protect capital, but the chart still doesn't look good. The action is really slow. There's definitely some leverage in here, and the leverage is to the downside. So we could see some explosive upside if we can get buyers to come back in. But really this inflation data, so like the inflation was good for Bitcoin. It helped accelerate growth a lot because it just sort of reminded everyone that the people who are making fiscal policy are morons. Either that or they just don't care about doing the right thing, or they care more about something else like politics or whatever versus doing what's actually right, doing their job. It's just sort of reminding everyone of that, and that we need a Bitcoin out there. Well, if they're going to go and square things away, then that kind of puts that thesis on its head. And that is the reason why we've seen this recent sell-off. But you can tell there's institutional money in here. There's big buyers who are waiting for discounts. When will the shorts get liquidated if we're going to go higher? Or when will the buyers just give up and be done? That's the question. So it's moving really slow right now. I've honestly never seen it trade this slow before, ever. We are at a stalemate. This is like old school in the town square, about to have a gunfight, and you're just waiting for someone to say go. That's what's going on with Bitcoin right now. It's pretty interesting. On the real estate side, let's see. I saw this. This is, mortgage rates are going up. Look, it's the Wild West over here too. Crazy stuff's happening. Crazy stuff. Rates changing 10 times a day. I mean, just crazy. It's crazy. Banks don't really know what to do right now. They really don't know what to do. All they know is they're not getting as many apps as they have been. It's ultra competitive. And there is no catalyst for lower rates. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to have to get my mug out of the way here. By the way, Derrick Evans, the home loan specialist, NMLS 155012. Do all kinds of loans. Call or text me if you want to buy or refi. You can send me an email as well. It all works. I'll shoot you straight, get you a great deal. No fees, no BS. All right. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Well, actually, since we're zoomed in, look at this. This is what I'm looking at every day. If you want to know how I got all these gray hairs, look at what I'm dealing with. Look at this. That's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. Just pure carnage. Particularly when you look at these candles, we have one day, this little green guy right here, which was just a wick, basically. No body on that thing at all. One green candle in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 business days. This is just a carbon copy over here. Just ignore this thing. So what is going on? How could the price action be this bad? Well, again, the market has realized, as I've told you, there is no catalyst for this to get better. There isn't one. There isn't even like a hope. Like if you're going to say, well, in what situation do mortgage rates drop? All right, well, let's talk about it. What situation would that be? It would be inflation data comes out and it's actually already pretty okay. You know, we thought it was 6-something%. It's actually like 4. It's not too bad. And the Fed comes out and says, you know what? We're going to slow our roll a little bit here. We were being a little aggressive. We're going to taper a little less than we said we were going to. We're not going to worry about the balance sheet. That's what it would take. And that would do it. But I highly doubt that's coming. Remember, they bit their lip for a year before doing what the announcement that they made. They would not have done it unless they had to. But look at this. Each day, except for that one day, we don't even get into the price action the previous day. We literally start off, if you don't know how to read candles, this may not make sense to you. We literally start off where we left off the previous day with the free fall. We have not even gone into the territory of the previous day's candle once in the last 4 trading days. 5 trading days. I guess 6. Yeah, all 6 of them by that rationale. This one line works for those 3 days. So they're just the buyers who are in there are value buyers who are clearly bidding low. Probably could be the Federal Reserve themselves. Hard to say. But, just it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good at all. I mean, this is about as bad as it gets. This is one of the ugliest charts I've ever seen. You might say, but Derrick, look at those bullish wicks that you see at the bottom of all. Yeah, the last couple of days we got a little wicky here, which I'll take it. I'll take it. Buyers came in today. We were down 42 basis points at one point today, only down 16 at the end. I'll take it. I'll take it. When does this stop? That's the question. When does it end? When do we get a reprieve here? When can we go sideways for a little while? If we just get some sideways action, rates will get better. If we just go sideways for a little while, rates will improve. Because right now, banks are having to price in this falling bowling ball every single day, knowing that it's coming the following day. And that's not easy. I'd hate to be a capital markets guy at a bank right now. So it doesn't look great. It looks like rates, are still going to continue to move higher here. Plan on that. Expect that. Be prepared for that. And then we hope that it's not the case. We hope that we'll be able to avoid that. But we need this to stop. We've got to go sideways. We need a green candle. We need to know where the floor is here. And when will we get there? I hope we're there. I hope tomorrow we get a little green candle, even if it's a little teeny tiny one. Or at least start to get some sideways motion instead of the straight down stuff. So that's what we're looking at. That's what it is. At the end of the day, just to circle back, Metaverse investment, buy Facebook, do it slowly. You don't need, there's nothing that I've seen. Someone please let me know out there on YouTube world. If there is something in the Metaverse that is selling for pennies, if there is something that's just like dirt cheap, please let me know. Everything I've seen, super expensive, stupid expensive. So I want to see, tell me, show me, where are the penny stocks in the Metaverse? Where is the land that's super cheap in the Metaverse that you're expecting to get 100 or 1,000x on? Look, right now we have a lot of inflation. We have bubbles forming in lots of different places, and I think this could be one of them. So just be careful. Don't FOMO into anything. If you're going to buy land there, make sure you really understand it. If you don't understand it, if you're just doing it because someone else is doing it because someone on YouTube said to do it, don't do it. Trust me. Meta platforms, I'm going to hold my nose and buy this thing over the next 2 years. Slowly build up a position. And I think that's the way to play it. Because remember, real revenue is not going to be generated on this thing. Real profit, I should say, is not going to be generated on this thing for probably a couple of years. And that's okay. It's going to be a very big deal. And the next generation, the generation of gamers that are out there, the younger generation that has lived their whole life inside their phone, it's going to make sense to them. It's going to make sense to them, especially the way it's going to be integrated into real life. Really, really, it's really cool and interesting. It's not something that I have any interest in personally, but I know a lot of people do. And the next generation, listen, don't be an old fogey. It's very easy to be an old fogey and go, what the hell? People should go out and breathe fresh air and play catch and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, if you're going to be that way as an investor, you'll get smoked. You'll get left in the dust, and you'll have all your money in stocks that build rotary phones. So don't be that person. You got to understand the world's going to change. It's going to change into something that you probably don't recognize. It's going to change into something that you probably don't like. That's what happens when you get old. So as an investor, keep your innovation cap on and keep an open mind and know that this is going to be something massive. And if you want to participate in it, there's lots of different ways you can do it. Look, I just showed you here. ETFs, the main source of revenue, technologies, stuff you probably already own. Apple, Google, Snapchat's in there. All the different cryptos that are associated with the Metaverse, they're all listed right here in CoinMarketCap. They've got a separate tab for it. Lots of different ways you can get into it. Probably want to be there in some way. Which way makes sense for you? I'll let you decide. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have questions, give me a shout. always here for you. Oh, let's go with this one. I like this one better. Have questions about home loans, questions about anything you see in these videos, call, text, email me whenever. You'll have a great day, and I'll see you soon.